What's going
What's
on?
happening?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
I'm good, man. This is, hey, we, got another weekend surviving. Shoot,
Yes, we
can't
do.
can't,
Well,
can't complain.
I don't like the, the mishaps. So your boy kicked off the show, and it wasn't the right show, and I don't know I'm all frazzled today. But like you say, we made it to another one, so we got you
Yeah,
got to love that. You got to love that, brother Nixon is in the building. Shouts out to you. I'm rocking some pressing. So God dog it, somebody say something. Somebody say. Let me get these comments right though. I see you, sir.
what's
I
ha-
see.
what's happening? What's happening,
Yeah, get this
man?
man back on the show.
My feelings are still hurt from last night,
What's
man.
wrong, brother? You got some things. You got some things going on.
Hey,
What's wrong,
man,
man?
LeBron got me, man. He got us. Hey, you know what? I'm gonna give him his props.
All right, see now you
That
wagging
was
the
that was a clutch
dog, you
shot.
wagging the tail before the dog, or all that. You jump in the cart,
Yeah, yeah,
you know.
yeah. Because I can make sure you don't shoot. Yeah, you gonna shoot. You gonna punch me in the gut with it. So I got to get it out before you get me in the gut with it.
Don't no. I'm gonna be neutral, right? I'm not gonna do you
You
like
gonna be
I do
neutral?
Tall Boy. Yeah, Tall Boy is
Oh, okay,
somebody
okay.
that I'll pick on him when we got show, but I'm gonna be nice to you slightly. And
Okay.
we gonna ease into it. So folks, check it out. Welcome to Team No Sleep. We talk the social impact of sport. We got a handful of topics tonight. It's gonna be a little more lighthearted tonight than it was
Mhm.
last week for sure. But we still got some things to talk about, and there's gonna be some emotion in today. But it'll be some lighthearted fun and emotion. Let's
Yeah,
talk basketball.
absolutely.
We got a lot of basketball. I see
Look,
brother Nixon talking about football, but we gonna talk about your boy Tebow, number 85, I think it is.
yeah.
Tight end for the
Hmm.
Jacksonville Jaguars. But I think we'd be remiss if we didn't start off talking about 2020 class, Hall of Fame class for the
Yes.
NBA Hall of Fame. Some definite winners got in there, obviously
Yeah.
highlighted by the man in the middle. Uh, I am so glad though. Yeah, we know Kobe. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
just gonna put that on the mantle. I'm gonna put that someplace else for a minute. But man, I'm so glad that Garnett got in. Godly,
Oh,
I'm so
yeah. I mean,
glad that he got in.
I, I think he to me he was a one. He was my favorite power forward as he was
Yeah,
playing. Him and Chris Webber, obviously.
yeah,
He was just that fiery guy. His personality, always challenging everybody. Carried Minnesota for all those years and got the opportunity to go to Boston and got a ring. Proud of KG, man. I think he's a guy that speaks truth from heart, and I like his background better almost than I like where he came from because
yep,
that formula of bringing your boys with you and making sure everybody takes care of everything. KG was, I mean, he was the one that I knew that was the first one to do it. He brought all his boys with him
yeah.
to Minnesota, and got them jobs and got them, make sure they went to school and got to college. Help him raise his sister because it was just him and his little sister at the time, and the brother flourished. I mean, he flourished as all stars and
Yeah,
basketball. I mean, that just shows how sports can open up a whole another life,
that's
and
true.
change generational wealth for forever for him and his partners. So salute to
You
KG.
definitely for sure. I mean, you get that money and you do it right. He didn't have a whole lot of things that went sideways for him, right? I mean,
Mm-mm,
everyone when they
mm-mm,
get into the spotlight, they have things go down and all. But KG stayed pretty cool.
mm-hmm.
It was definitely a good thing to see him walk in. Your brother Duncan got in.
Yep.
He gave his shout out to Coach too, and he got a little controversy about that. But you know what? You got to give the props to the man who showed you the drills, the man who showed
Yeah.
you. I mean, Duncan, KG, and then obviously Kobe getting in. Talk to us a little bit though, brother. How you felt
Yeah.
about number 8, number 24?
Oh man, I thought Michael Jordan's speech was cool, but his wife's speech, Vanessa's, was more powerful and more
Yeah.
really touched the heart. I thought. I mean, she spoke volumes of her husband and how proud she was of him, and how proud of his kids were of him, and how everything he's just over accomplished as not only a basketball player but as growing up as a husband. Because we guys got to remember, Kobe grew up in front of our eyes. We met this
Yes.
man when we saw him first on the scene when he was 17. He made mistakes along the way, like all of us do,
Yeah.
and then still was able to overcome those mistakes, those things he did outside, and then still be able to mature, become a great father, a great basketball, a great humanitarian.
Yeah.
what more can you ask? I mean, we saw the American dream right in front of our eyes, and unfortunately, it ended kind of tragically. But I mean, man, to me, it almost seemed like it was long overdue, right? I mean, I mean, it only passed away. It almost seemed,
Yeah, you
it's
almost
crazy.
wonder, obviously want them to go in first round unanimously,
Hmm.
all of that first time up. And but you're right, it just seems so long since he retired, and almost why aren't you already in? But
Yes.
go ahead and give him his blessings. Go ahead and give him his flowers. It was touching to see his wife and see his daughter wearing the jacket,
Hmm.
and just
Hmm.
going through the whole pomp and circumstance. Unfortunately, yeah, he wasn't there. He was there in spirit, but wasn't there to be in person to feel it.
You,
Um,
you know what I thought was an interesting part, I'll let you go ahead. Go. One of the interesting parts that I thought was, it's funny when she said that for his first two daughters, he was away from them because he was always on the road perfecting his craft, basketball, and so on. So he didn't really get to watch them grow up. And unfortunately, he's going to miss his last two daughters because he passed away.
yeah,
So he never really got to have the full spectrum of fatherhood. Watching his kids grow from really young toddlers to go, because he was always busy focusing on becoming, the great Kobe Bryant that he was. Um, and like I said, I salute Vanessa.
yeah,
Uh, she's a very strong woman. And the way she just kind of she's carrying the Bryant name and the Bryant family and the Bryant legacy. Man, nothing but my support. At least I could tell you from my support. So I salute them. It just is what he embodies, what he stands for. Man, is like, it's gonna be
yeah.
timeless. In my opinion.
Yeah, I think so. We got a couple of things going on here in the background. Shouts out to folks that are, that are responding in the comments as well. I love what Keely is talking about. Tallboy, I just sent you an invite, brother. If you want to jump on and talk about that other topic that you mentioned, let's do that. We can have that conversation as well. I think what Vanessa did with Kobe's Nike contract and that whole thing. I think that was the right move as well. Go ahead and let that play itself out until that
Hmm.
contract was over, and instead of continuing on with the contract, now focusing on other activities. Now focusing on either building the other pieces of the legacy, other pieces of the Bryant name, of the foundation, things of that nature, as opposed to trying to come out with another shoe, right?
Yep.
In a retrospective, something of that nature, right? So again, I think that was a good move for her, just looking at the overall legacy of Kobe. I think the other members that got in were incredibly respectful in terms of how they acknowledged that it's not even that they had to, but the fact that they acknowledged that we wouldn't be here, we wouldn't have maybe had the same kind of drive, we wouldn't maybe have the same kind
Hmm.
of determination if we weren't matched up across the court from Kobe. So they gave him his flowers from that perspective as they were
Yeah.
getting their shots in as well. So let me we got a heckler that was out there in the audience. So I'm gonna go ahead and let this brother come in and let him talk about whatever in the world it is that he wants to talk about. Ladies and gentlemen, tall boy, Corey, tall boy Sanders in the. Who you rocking right now? Let me see. What's that? Okay,
He
let
rocking
me
that
get you.
Kobe. He rocking
Yeah,
that Kobe.
okay.
I mean,
And,
you got to give respect. Now, I don't
Atlanta
know why you
man.
got to bring me over a little bit. You got
I'm
me.
a,
You got me.
well, you too
Yeah,
tall. See, you too.
okay, I'll back up a little bit. How about
Yeah.
that?
My overlays aren't built for people 7 feet tall.
Oh man, legends never die, as they say, right?
They don't. They don't.
Hmm.
Talk to me. Welcome to the show, brother. Appreciate you coming in and wanting to contribute, give your commentary. It's going to be
I mean, I love
fun
your
in the
show. I'm
comments.
glad. I'm glad I know people that I can just send a text message and say, "Hey, I got something to talk about."
Got something to talk
Because I
about.
mean, this
Get
is
you
a
some
great.
screen
Like,
time. Get you
can you
some
scoop
screen
me
time.
over a little bit? I mean, because
Right.
you got me like sideways in.
You all the way over right now without
Oh,
zooming you all the way in your head. I tell you
how
what.
about that? I'll come over
Oh,
this way.
here we go. Let me change
Look,
you.
we talk. Thank you, thank you,
There we go.
thank you, people.
See, I can do that in Ecamm. I'm not sure if you can do that in vMix.
I think that your opening story was great, but
Appreciate you.
we already know that the internet has gone crazy over the last couple days because do we need to? Can I go into that, or do you want me to talk about the Hall of Fame thing?
No, keep going. Now, you came on
Go on,
with
go on.
Kwame Brown on the mind, so we're
Oh,
gonna
yeah,
talk. We're gonna talk about that.
you
Yeah.
go on
I
with
mean,
that.
that should have been top story. Come on, man. That should have been top story. This man has he's gotten views. He's really ruffled a couple people's feathers.
So,
He's,
pause. We know what you're talking about, but go ahead and tell the folks who may not understand or know what you're talking about Kwame.
So on Sunday, hello everybody. My name
Yeah.
is Corey Tallboy Sanders. I'm a former athlete, so I'm speaking from an athlete's perspective.
Yes, you are.
So please do not get mad at me when I say how I feel about this situation.
Talking with his hands now too. You know.
Yeah.
I gotta do it. This one hit hard right here.
Yeah.
On Sunday, there was a player that played for the Washington Wizards by the name of Gilbert Arenas, a very great player. He went on to a very popular show called All the Smoke with Steven Jackson.
Steven Jackson, yeah.
Who played in the NBA, as well as Matt Barnes. They have a show called All the Smoke on Showtime. You Google it. It's on YouTube. It's on Showtime. It's a very popular sports show. They've had a lot of great people, such as the legendary Kobe Bryant, KG. I don't think they've had Tim Duncan on there just yet. But on Sunday, they had Gilbert Arenas. And there was a statement that was made by Gilbert Arenas basically disrespecting the former number one player in the NBA draft. Said that he was the second fastest guy in the NBA. Second fastest guy on the team, but his hands were small. And he made a statement saying that if you know Michael Jordan, you knew that he had a high demand. He demanded a lot out of his teammates.
Right.
And I think you saw it in the Jordan documentary. So everyone loves Michael Jordan, but they don't know who Michael Jordan really is as a player.
That is true.
And basically, Kwame Brown got drafted by Michael Jordan, who played on that same team Kwame Brown's rookie year.
Yeah.
And when he did not develop and produce the way Michael Jordan probably wanted him to, everyone basically went in on Kwame Brown, said that he wasn't great, he wasn't good, and basically, he's been the butt of a lot of jokes, shall we say?
Yeah, ever since he wasn't a dud. He wasn't again, he was number one draft pick. He was a fantastic player. Anyone that makes it to the league is a fantastic player. But
right, and he was the number one player that was drafted in that draft that Gilbert Arenas came. I think he was a second round player, if I'm correct. But Gilbert Arenas became the star of. He became the franchise player for the Washington Wizards, and Kwame Brown basically never got a chance to really showcase his talents with that team or any of the other teams. Kwame Brown had a chance to go to the Lakers and play with Kobe. He did not do as well with them. I think he also went to the Pistons and he did okay, but he really did not have the career that you would think that a number one player would have, shall we say.
Correct.
Well, Kwame Brown, I guess he got tired of the disrespect. And on Sunday, he went in and the comments have, when I tell you this has taken the forefront of all sports news, they've tried to get Matt Barnes on Get Up or whatever that NBA show is. Steven Jackson has been on Instagram.
Yeah.
They've all been trying to just get comments out of the stars of the show. But to be honest, if you go back and listen to any of Kwame Brown's Instagram or YouTube posts, you're hearing it from his perspective. And remember, there's always three sides to every story: your side, my side, and the truth. And everyone that has spoken on Kwame Brown, he has literally been giving, I don't know if I can curse on this show, but he's been giving their tail to them and basically saying, you're not talking to me, you're talking about me. And I just got through watching a post where the famous Breakfast Club, they basically made some comments about his family, saying how his father did a horrible crime, and he spent was probably spending the rest of his life in prison, and his family members, his brothers have done some things, but you put that narrative out. And basically, Kwame Brown has pretty much responded to the Breakfast Club. He's responded to Rob Parker. He responded to Stephen A. Smith. He's responded to the Breakfast. I mean, to all the smoke. And I'm giving you the PG version.
Put it this way: the name of the show was right. Get some smoke or whatever it was. But when Kwame Brown got to talking, everyone else was saying, "Look, they don't want that smoke from Kwame because he was real." Right, so your boy Barnes was saying, "Look, man, we don't have no problems. I don't want no problems from you, Kwame. Hey, we got nothing but respect." Stephen Jackson.
Did you see his post today?
I didn't get to see his post. I didn't get to see his post today. But again, all those guys were saying
they said, "Let's come on to the show."
Okay.
And even if we put on some boxing gloves and knock it out, knock it out. And he told him. I mean, then he turned around and clowned him and told him, "I'm not coming onto your show." And I mean, he really went in on Matt Barnes, and then the disrespectful part was Stephen Jackson said that he's not gonna bring Kwame Brown onto the show, but because of all the views and the attention that it has now garnered, that's what led Matt Barnes to invite him onto the show.
Okay.
But then he turned around and was still being somewhat disrespectful to Kwame Brown. Now, what you to realize? Go ahead.
I would say my thing is, okay, he's the butt of the jokes when it comes to basketball, right? I was talking about it, but them guys on their personal life, like Matt Barnes, that post that ran on Matt Barnes when he's talking about his wife and the situation with him and Derek Fisher. To me, he's frustrated, he's tired, but you don't need to go into nobody's family and going on those types of things when it comes having to beef about somebody saying something.
You said all the smoke.
I hear you, man, but I just don't.
Come on, Now hold up. You're a football player.
Yeah.
Now, in basketball, they talk about your mama. They talk about your kid. Yeah. I mean, they do whatever it takes to get up underneath your skin. So now you're a former athlete. You want the smoke? I'm gonna give you the smoke. So now you can't come over here contradicting, because as an athlete, because remember, we're talking from an athlete's perspective, not a fan perspective. And then you're also talking about a country boy from the South.
Yes.
So now as a Southern boy from the South, because I live here in Atlanta, you're not gonna disrespect me because I'm coming for everything.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't.
And you hear that in Kwame's response. No, look.
But I get it. See, me personally, I get all that. I get all the smoke. I'm at a point where we're all at a point where I think that we're grown men now. I felt the situation could have been. I respect Kwame though. He's speaking his truth. I don't have no problem with that. He's speaking his truth. He's frustrated. He's tired of everybody talking about him. Me personally, men that are at that age that have that financial success need to handle it a better way, because that don't show no example to young people. So now I can air my beef out on Twitter because I got a problem with you. That's not how we handle stuff as adults. If I got a problem with you, tall boy, I'm gonna call you. I'll be like, look, man,
I like what you did the first time. But Stephen A. Smith, and if you saw the interview with Jenny Buss, I don't know if you saw that interview, but Matt Barnes made a very disrespectful comment saying that Paul Gasol or Mark Gasol got traded it was a one-man trade. And then Jeannie Buss said it was Kwame Brown. And they said, no, it was a one-man trade. So now you disrespected this man once again. So now it's like you're disrespecting me and saying that I'm not even worth the mentioning of my name, of what I worked hard for to become the number one pick. And now that you disrespected me, I'm going to tell you how I feel. Now, as an athlete, I got to come for you. Now, I don't care how you do it or whatever. Now, like I said, whether it comes to blows, because, Southern boys are a little different from how y'all West Coast, folks.
Oh, look at you,
man. Don't stereotype us. Look, we from the country too. Now we put these hands on you if we need to. So don't
let the light skin fool nobody.
Don't.
The sunshine don't fool you, man.
I'm just
saying. Don't let the white hat fool you, brother. We got some things.
Watch the show, and if you can bear through the cursing, because the cursing is how do I word this? The cursing is just it's just releasing, it's putting that extra oomph to whatever he's saying,
Yeah, yeah.
in
Yeah.
the African American community, in the black
allowing him to
community.
emote as
Yeah.
Like I said, I think him speaking his truth. I get it. I understand it. Speak your truth. You got to.
But
That's the way you're gonna keep it 100. No, you got. Go ahead.
here's the part that I don't like. You have the other sports reporters that we've all respected over the years, whether it's Rob Parker, Stephen A. Smith, Chris Broussard. They've all
I've
dogged
never
this man.
respected Stephen A. Smith.
Oh wow.
No.
Well,
Yeah.
to my point, to my point, they've, it's like he's now telling you from a third person's perspective, not just, quite naturally ESPN waters down, Fox Sports waters down, and they constantly just throw out the sound bites that these sports reporters give you. And we take it as the truth because they're giving it to you from an African American perspective. Now you have a country boy who was saying, hey, I don't bother nobody. I've never been in a locker room fight. I've never been in a bar fight. I've never been arrested. I've never done anything bad. But you've talked about me enough that now I'm going to tell you how I feel. And the fact that you never came and picked up the phone and called this man and just tried to get his point of view, that is just disrespectful.
That's BS. Now I agree with you 100%. That's, I don't want to say the word, but
and on top of that, you made money. You've made money, and you made a name off of this man. So it's like you've disrespected him. That's like me talking about James every day, talking about his new clothing line, is booty crap, and blah 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 blah, taking money out of that man's pocket to where he can't feed his family. I'm this world-renowned sportscaster or tech expert, and I'm stopping this man from getting what he probably could get, where he might have got an $80 million deal. Now he may only get 10 million. You just took money out of this man's pocket by talking bad about him.
Definitely gonna be a problem.
That's a problem.
I agree 100%, Paul. I think they should have picked up the phone and hollered at him and talked to him. They should have been big enough to reach out to him, because, like he said, he got a cell phone. I think one of his posts, he was like, "You could have reached out to me, and no one had. And now you want to reach out to me after the fact." And he said, "I'm not responding. He's not talking to them." I get that part. I just wish, man. I'm gonna be perfectly honest. I'm just tired of our dirty laundry always out in the media. It's all that comes to African Americans. And but I can understand where Kwame's frustration is, and where he's like, do it. And I'm glad he's starting to get his following. I hope he gets his own podcast, because he's very entertaining in what he's saying, and he needs to tell this story. You need your podcast to tell it just like you do, and rival all the smoke and do your thing and have your perspective, because everybody needs to have that kind of story. I'm glad he's gonna follow him. I'm glad he's trending on Twitter. I'm glad he's one of the people starting to go after him and speak his truth, because this failed has been the butt of people's jokes. There's many athletes in other sports to be able to put, and their story has never been told. People don't like to hear that because they don't like to hear them come at him. Kwame's opening a whole other door, another lane for himself, I believe. So that good old country boy, I think he's gonna have another lane, another entertainment and revenue stream for himself, to be honest with you.
So let me interject on this, and I want to say something about what happened as well today, because I missed that part today. I was doing a couple other things, but first and foremost, let me shout out to my man JP High Tech in the building. That's a good man right there. If y'all not following his channel, he's a good man. Now Jemele Hill though is getting involved with this, right? And see, she should have she should have just sat down and not getting involved with this, because she was already no longer with ESPN. Now she doing her podcast, doing whatever she's doing, but now she done lit the flame under Kwame as well. So now we got Matt Barnes, you got Steven Jackson, you got Jemele Hill, you got the Breakfast Club, you got all this negative connotation and all this comment happening around this man who needs to be respected as not just as an athlete, but as a man as well. So I want to put that commentary in as well. This, as Martella said, I think it's going to be an excellent opportunity for him to come out and actually now start telling his story. Because to be honest with you, before this week, there were a lot of sports fans, NBA fans, who forgotten about Kwame. who didn't realize who he was, what he did, and more importantly, what he's still doing now. It's not like the man is sitting around broke. The man has got some coins. He's doing his thing. He's running successful businesses, plural. But so there's I'm trying to find a positive to this entire thing, that where hopefully he will step above, because he didn't already told Matt Barnes, I ain't fighting you, man. That's stupid. Right, so he's not gonna step in the ring and try to do something like a Mayweather fighting the Logan boys. That's just a circus act. So hopefully the silver lining in this is now folks are starting to see who Kwame was. He's never gonna get back in the league again, of course not. He may go play with Ice Cube's league, or he may go do something else. But the fact that his story, I think, is going to get told, hopefully by him, as opposed to all these folks that are chiming in, trying to get views, trying to get likes, and trying to get all that other stuff. We're not doing that. We're telling the story how it truly is. And glad you came on, Tallboy, to actually give it that whole different perspective. Because me and Montel are coming at it from the fans' perspective, but you're coming from someone who was in the locker room and who knows about what it feels like to be on an NBA on an amateur or professional basketball squad. So that's the conversation that I'm glad that we're having, because it shines the other light besides just, man, everyone's dissing Kwame. He was bust in the NBA. Michael Jordan didn't like him. He was weak. Wow, all that, blah, blah. But there's a whole nother aspect of that I think is positive for this man. Will it turn out to be all right for him? I don't know.
Here's my problem, and it's sad, but it's true, and we have to bring light to this. When you talk about people like Kwame Brown, who was a strong black man, you talk about Colin Kaepernick, that's a strong black man, they tend to silence those type of people. Those type of when you have a voice and you say this is what's good for me or my family or for my people, they don't want that on TV. They don't want you to speak your truth. They want you to just collect your check. They don't want the Muhammad Ali's on TV. And Kwame Brown has now, I don't even listen to the content. My thing is go to YouTube, go to Instagram, and read the comments. And what you see is strong African American males speaking their truths and saying, you know what, this man has something to say. I never heard this man speak before, but he is telling the truth. Whether it's Becky with the good hair, the gangster activist, because you're right, when you think about Steve is acting like a gangster on one side, but then the other. He was all with the Black Lives Matter, but then the next thing you know, you look up and you see, he's over here in the club with guns. So which one are you? But they don't want a guy like Muhammad Ali, a Colin Kaepernick, or a Kwame Brown on television, because that now you're scaring, the masses, shall we say, to say that this is a strong black male. Nothing against Michael Jordan, nothing against Kobe Bryant, rest in peace, nothing against any other great that may have played the game. But did they really step up and speak out on social issues? You see LeBron doing it, but you don't see Michael Jordan. But you don't see Michael Jordan has invested in prisons, but they don't talk about that, So when you have a guy like this who is speaking his truth, they don't want that on TV. And so when you go back and read those comments, he can say what he wants to say on YouTube, and he can be unapologetic. He can say it the way he want to say it. I mean, I didn't even know the stuff that was going on with the Breakfast Club. Yeah. And when I saw what was happening and you started researching the story, it's like, oh my God.
It's
but
crazy.
This is what we idolize, and this is what we look up to. And if you don't know what happened, Charlemagne the God, who owns the podcast, that the Black Effect, I think that's what it's called. He spoke out on Kwame Brown and told the narrative. Well, Kwame responded back and said, hold up, you're the same guy that threw a party and this 15-year-old girl got caught up in something that you were involved in, and basically no one never canceled you. So basically we're going to put you as the face of the African American community. When you think about the Breakfast Club, people, and I respect Charlemagne, I really do, but I still think that, hey, if you really did this, then you
Yeah,
probably shouldn't not be. You should not be the face that is, talking to our youth. You should not be that guy. That's just my
I
opinion. So
I I, I think Kwame Brown right now, and I think what you're saying, tall boy, they don't like strong black men that are unfiltered. And right now, Kwame Brown is being very unfiltered and very transparent in his truth and what he knows and what he's seeing. And he's going right now. He's at the point. I'm gonna air out all the laundry. Y'all been talking about me for so long, and I've been the butt of everybody's jokes for so
rightfully
long.
so.
All right now, I'm gonna tell everybody. I'm gonna tell y'all business now. I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna show you how it feels to be on the other end of that stick. And I like I said, I applaud him for speaking his truth. I really do. We all wish it could have been held in a different manner. But hey, you know what? I hope Kwame Brown has found another lane for him to be able to do something different. Now, the difference between now you said about basketball and football. See, in football, if you say something about me, I'm gonna get you on the field. We got 60 minutes, and I'm gonna target your ass, and I'm gonna find you, and I'm gonna pop you and knock you in
Hmm.
your mouth. With
Hmm.
basketball, y'all a little bit different. Y'all on the court talking about
We
everybody's doing.
petty.
Y'all can't react the way we do. So
We
that's the
petty.
difference. But we can get ours out right there.
There's
So,
a difference between a
but
hard foul and just clapping somebody on
yeah,
watching a blind
let me
side.
rock his ass. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
let me rock him real quick. But man, I think man, like I said, Kwame Brown, he's trending. I think he's gonna continue to trend. I think he's gonna continue to speak the truth. I think he's gonna continue to expose guys you want that people don't want to hear about. Michael, like you said, Michael Jordan, all those guys like that we feel doing more in our communities and doing and do more and have more of an outspoken voice. They don't. I hope Kwame Brown kind of step in another lane. He's different than Colin Kaepernick. Colin Kaepernick's more doing different things, but I want Kwame Brown to be able to find that lane. He should have his all smoke too. I'm talking all smoke too. Let
Yeah.
his podcast be able to blow up and tell his truth and be able to talk about things as well because the brother has an audience
I tell you what,
and he's talking.
I'll tweet
Fulfilled.
Kwame after the show, see if he wants to come hang out, team no sleep. Man, we social impact of
I
sport,
have
folk.
nothing but
Y'all
respect
thought
for him. I mean,
we
I
ain't
think
talked about one
I,
score yet. We talking about social
I
impact
think
for
I
sure.
think we all have had our share of jokes or laughs, but for me as a big man, and Kwame was a big man,
Mhm.
I used to get picked on a lot as well, and and I'm gonna say this on y'all's show, I used to be called the 7-foot nice guy, and that's probably one of the most disrespectful things that you can ever call a big man. But then, when I got mad, it was like that nice guy was not in me no more. And
Mm-hmm.
now I'm trying to go for your head.
Hmm.
The only bad thing is my teammates, were coming at me. So you have to have thick skin. You're trying to play to get more money, to get a better opportunity to
Mm-hmm.
take care of your family. And when you have your teammates clowning you, joking you, but these are supposed to be your brothers,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's rough. And so
And we got
the
to remember Kwame was what 19, right? I mean, he got drafted out of
19
high school.
Yeah.
So he was only
out of
18 and
high school, yeah, I
19,
think he was the last
young man.
kid.
So you got to think this. He's been going through. So I think he was in the league for like 7 years. But you got to think, how is
No,
a
12.
19-year-old man or huh? 12? Oh, 12 years. Okay, I'm
He was
sorry.
in
Yeah,
the
he
Excuse
was
me.
in there.
He was in
He
the league
was
for
in there
12
for
years.
yeah.
So let's. You're 18 years old. You drafted by Michael Jordan. You're under the scrutiny of Michael Jordan, which we already know is high as hell. And he's been enduring this for not only 12 years while he's in the league, but another, several years after the league.
Yeah.
He's still getting also. Man, if you talk about me for 20 years, brother, man, we got I hear him. We
Yeah.
got a problem.
Yeah. You're gonna be
We
tired of
have
that.
a
You gonna
problem.
after a
Yeah,
while. There's only
I'm
so
talking.
much that anyone can take of
Yeah,
just the
yeah,
negative getting punched and poked and prodded
yeah,
at.
yeah. I am, and now that you put it that way, Tom, you're right. I am coming after you in every which way you can. If you talked about me for the last 20 years, I am coming after you. All gloves off, all everything aside, I am coming after you, and I could care less what anybody else thinks about it.
I
So
love it.
I can see his frustration on what he's doing. But like I said, I wish our dirty laundry wasn't aired out in the media so much, man. It kind of just brings another kind of a negative stain sometimes. With all the cursing he's doing, if he could handle a little bit, but that negative
It's the language
connotation.
that we
But
speak, and that's
yeah,
the
yeah,
language that we speak. And when you speak that language, unfortunately, other cultures and races, they do not understand that that curse word has some power to, you know, when your mama said, "I'm gonna whoop your,"
Yeah.
when they hit that button, that curse beat button, you know, it had some meaning to it. But if you told it, you know, if you tell your kids, you know, I'm gonna give you a whooping, okay. But if you tell them I'm gonna whoop your, you know what I
you
mean?
listen.
They
You
have
listening?
you listening and you feel it. So I mean,
Mhm.
I don't know if a podcast is necessarily for Kwame, because I mean I don't really want to see him go down that road, me personally. But I do
Mhm.
think some type of sketch show, or you know, something along those lines, or you know, I don't know if media is something that he
He,
wants to do, because
he,
like I said, he's over here buying property. You
yeah,
know,
Yeah.
he's doing fine,
he's
right?
building his
Yeah.
community up. I mean, he's doing
Yep.
stuff for kids. I mean, and this is, and he's giving it to you from a real man perspective. I mean, I don't know if
Mhm.
your fathers were in your lives, but how many single mothers wish that they had their father, I mean, had the male that they had their conceived their child with, had a man in their life to, you know, give them
Good point.
real world advice and say, hey, it's hard
Mhm.
out here, but you know what? We're gonna mow these yards, we're gonna wash these cars, you know, we're gonna get
Mhm.
out here and grind this thing out, because this is what we do as men. And I
Yep.
think that's what Kwame is trying to do here in Georgia. He is a country boy, and you know, country boys just think a little different, you know. So I'm a city kid, but I'm in the South. So I mean, but them country boys are a little different. So
I, lo- I love it.
Hey,
I
hey,
love it.
hey,
I tell you,
before we wrap up, the one thing I do, if his story is background, I only heard Charlamagne's. I did the research. I know really about his background, about his brothers, and that's true. We should be celebrating that brother, because he's overcome some odds in his
yeah,
life situation.
oh, it's
yeah,
More
true.
low.
The story is true.
If it's all
yeah.
true, what they said about his background and his family, and I
Yeah.
wish people would kind of look it up now that it's all the way out there. If you look at his background, we should be celebrating the things he accomplished just to be able to play only number one, just to be able to get to the NBA, because his family has went through some real trials and tribulations, and it's amazing how he didn't get caught up in that same situation.
Yep. Yep.
I'm my mama's son. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm my mama's son. So,
Very good. Hey.
like you said, Montel,
Yeah.
and real talk, think about it. Most people that play in the NBA only last 2 or 3 years. They're
Yep.
broke probably 5, 6 years after.
Mhm.
This man still has money, and he's
Mhm.
still doing things that it wasn't about being the number one pick and being a superstar and being in the Hall of Fame. He's
Mhm.
in the Hall of Fame of life, and
Yep.
he's
Look at
not
you.
in
Okay.
jail. He's
Okay.
not arrested. You know, he's being a positive influence to the community, you know,
Mhm.
and he's living his best life to, you know, he's not even 35 years old, and he's a millionaire. How
True.
many 35 and under men
Many
do you
times
know
over.
that's not?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, so if he has not been successful, so this is one time for the big men, you know. My thing is, don't put Kwame. I swear, don't put Kwame's name in your mouth if you ain't called him. See,
Yeah, he ain't
I
ready.
shot
Yeah,
him.
Put,
he
put,
I
put some
shot him a
respect
DM.
on it, right?
Barnes
Put some
was
I'm
Matt
respect
my
Barnes
on
was
son.
his
not
name.
ready.
Stop
Matt
playing.
Barnes was not ready for that conversation.
No, he
Hey,
was not ready. So
bruh,
please
can
go
you?
back and do your research on that. But I had to mess with
Yeah,
y'all,
no
because
worries,
y'all
brother.
say y'all team no sleep. So I'm wondering why y'all sleeping on this not being the top story. Because I was like, yo, something's wrong with this.
Well,
Y'all
I'll
talking about the
I'll
Hall
tell
of
you why.
Fame. It was
I'll give you my excuse. Look, I've spent the last 2 hours hooking up this new Samsung 49 that I'm looking at, and let me tell you something. This is what I've been
brag.
focusing on. I have not had the opportunity to actually do all the research, so I have been negligent in my duties from that perspective. But shouts out to this Samsung 49 I'm looking at, though. We'll talk about that on the lab next week. We got a lot of basketball stories. You got time? You want to hang out with us? You are definitely welcome to
I got some
continue.
time. Come
You
on.
ain't you ain't
Yeah,
doing
let's
nothing
do it.
but drinking Minute Maid and eating crab
Well,
legs.
actually, I
So
switched over to apple juice today. It's the Kroger brand apple juice. So
shouts out to Kroger.
I'm not even on the Minute Maid today.
Don't worry about it. It's all right. Keeping with the basketball, hey folks, hopefully that discussion was in line with what you were expecting. Again, we don't talk about sports and scores a lot of the time. We talk about that social impact. So getting behind the scenes, it gets a little warm sometimes, but love having the different perspectives. Please chime in with your questions and your commentary. Hopefully you don't agree with us. I would love to have folks that will chime in the comments and say they don't agree with us. Montel, I know you got some new revenue streams coming in, but so one of them checks you're gonna have to use is gonna have to go to some new internet service, brother. Because you you're
It's
not.
man, you know what it is? You know what it is? Y'all clowning. I got one, two, three, four, five, 7 people on my internet service with
Where
my
they
kids
at?
just say laptops every day. And then I got all the cell phones and all that. So man, I got the maximum bandwidth. It's
Okay.
Frontier,
Oh,
brother. Man, I can't do nothing. For
I see them right there
My,
behind you too. You know, you got kids on PlayStations, Nintendo Switches.
yeah,
You
man.
you,
you
you
just need
go.
a better mic. That's all. You just need a better mic.
We go.
Hopefully, it's just the mic.
I got a mic I can send to you to next week. I can send you a
Mm,
mic. I got one
mm,
right here.
I'm gonna get you my address. We good.
Cool.
Montel, I've been waiting on that. Look, I've been waiting on my iPhone for a minute. So don't be expecting it to come no time soon. He gonna show it to you on the screen,
Yeah, I'll
and then
send
he
you
ain't
the
really gonna
mic
send it.
and the mixer right there. I was supposed to do a review for it, and they mad at me. They actually paid me for it, and I didn't do it. But I'll ship it to you. Yeah, don't trip.
All right.
Son,
I'm gonna see what's up to Tall Boy. See if he go get it to me right away.
as soon as I
See,
get your address.
I've been waiting on the iPhone.
I'm texting. Yeah, I'm texting the address as we speak right now. So go on with the conversation.
I love it. I love it. We're going to keep talking about basketball. So check it out. Last night was a critical game. It really was a critical game from an NBA perspective. We're going to get some more emotions riled up here right now. The Warriors. Who did I talk to? I talked to you, Corey, and I said, you asked me who I had in the game. I said, Golden State was going to do it, irregardless of LeBron out there doing whatever he was doing before an hour before the game. I said, yeah, Golden State got it. But sure enough,
Clutch.
the man got the flop. No, he got the flopping. He got to doing what he do. It was a great game. When you put the superstars
Did
on
you
the
say
court
he
together.
was flopping?
But there was a couple of little questionable moves on your boy James. Great man, great player, but there was a couple of questionable plays. But I'm just gonna leave it at that. Let me finish with the dialogue, and then you can come in with the ad lib. Having both of those teams on there, having to go down to the last minute, I could have sworn it was gonna go to overtime, but Curry didn't get a chance to get that last shot off. LeBron did make a 3-pointer from damn near half court with people in his face, and counted it down to Steph, and it was pretty sweet. It was pretty nice, but that was a really good game to identify dominance in the West. So the Lakers are in. Golden State still got to try it one more again. They got to go out there, and I think they got to play Ja. They got to play Ja Morant and the Grizzlies out there, right? So they still got to keep trying for that 8th seed. But talk to us about your feelings on that game between the Warriors and the Lakers, man. That was incredible for it to go down to the last moments. I was at the gym, and we were standing in front of the monitors laughing and screaming at it and everything. So talk to us. We'll let you go, Top Boy.
Well, one, it was good for the NBA. That's first
Yeah.
and foremost.
Yeah. Well,
I mean,
103 to 100. I mean, yeah, that tight. You can't
no,
get
and
closer
what
than
I
that.
mean by that, they were trying to build the game
Look
up.
at this. Look at Montel's
All,
face.
they were trying to build the game up all morning, from
Yeah.
the news. Good. It was on Good Morning America. They had Sports Center analysts on Good Morning America trying to talk about the importance of what this meant for the game. I mean, it even got me to say, you know what? Let me see what this game is all about. Because at first I was like, I don't care whoever makes it into the playoffs. But then I saw how the Clippers how they purposely lost their last 2 games of the season, so they
Yes.
did not have to go in the trajectory of the LA Lakers. So I said, well, let me just see what it's all about. First half, the Lakers came out really flat. They weren't doing their thing. I was very disappointed because I was like, this is not competitive. I actually dozed off.
Okay.
I told Hit the Spot 1006 that it doesn't really matter until the last 3 minutes of the game. Sure enough, I woke up, and it's in all honesty, if you
No.
watch any NBA game, the game is good. but it
I'm
doesn't
laughing
get
at what
good.
she probably said to you when you said that, to be honest with you. So it's all
It
good.
doesn't get good. The game doesn't really start until the last 3 minutes of any basketball game. The last 3 minutes, that's when the game counts because everything is critical. You can't make mistakes. And when you make those mistakes, now you're starting to pay that price. That's why I say the last 3 minutes of the game.
Mm-hmm.
With that being said, the last 3 minutes, AD showed up because he really wasn't doing well, that first half. Like I said, I missed the second and the third quarter and most of the fourth. But that last 3 minutes, Draymond, I'm glad they allowed that play to go as a regular foul as opposed to a flagrant or a technical, because that's
The one on
playoff
LeBron. Yeah, exactly.
That's playoff basketball. I mean, you're gonna get poked in the eye. I mean, it reminded me a little bit about the Detroit Pistons, bad boy Chicago Bulls era. It was like, hey, let them play. That's what you want. This is what
And
you
Draymond
wanted.
has always been that physical, right? He'll kick you too. Draymond come with them high knees and he'll get to kicking you. So you got to watch out for him sometime.
But for you to say that LeBron was flopping, no, I don't see the flop. I mean, I don't see what you're seeing. I mean, he puts his head down, he goes to the basket. A foul is a foul. Let's just call it what
He's
it is.
very, and he is very dramatic. He's very dramatic. Right, biggest and strongest guy on the team. He sure does not absorb a lot of content.
LeBron because he knows how to play the game.
No, look, I love. I'm a LeBron James fan.
You're missing what I'm saying. No, you're missing what I'm saying. He knows how to play the game. It's like James Harden. He knows how to play the game. If he kicks his leg out, it's a foul. He learned how to play the game. Now, was the shot lucky or was it, a great shot? It was a great shot. I mean, all NBA players are shooting from the logo. They're all shooting from the half court line. That's what they do in 2021. It's not like, when you do warm-ups and, you laying the ball up. No, they're shooting threes. That's what they do. Now, I don't expect LeBron to make those type of shots, but he did it against the New Orleans Pelicans when Zion
was on.
Year.
Yeah.
Zion had did a monster dunk, and LeBron came down on the very next play last year, and he whopped him from the half court line. So it's not like he never did it before. So it was a good shot. And
it was a great shot. Look, it was a great.
It was an awesome shot. Let's not. I mean, because the average person couldn't even make that shot if they gave you 100 tries. You probably couldn't even reach that far.
I'm zooming in on it again, right? I mean, look, he has a size. He has a size difference on Curry, but that's
there ain't no size difference. What shocked me was the look on Curry's face after he made the shot. That was the hilarious part.
You lucky mother.
Because no. What I saw was what I saw was this is the look that Curry had on LeBron was the same look that everybody has on him when he makes those crazy shots that he makes. And now you getting a dose of your own medicine. Now the fact that they were able to hold them to not allow them to score or even attempt a shot, that was more impressive than the shot, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
There's 2 seconds left to go. How many times have we seen the post that comes on Instagram or comes on YouTube? Who would you rather have take the last shot? LeBron, Damian Lillard, Stephen Curry.
Ooh.
Everybody said Steph. And LeBron got the last shot for the Lakers. Steph had a shot. He didn't even get a chance to gather it. So now
that was the hard part, right? He didn't get a clean handle on that last shot. Now, if he had at least gotten that shot, I would have loved to seen it go to overtime because I love the story. I love everything about the story of the game.
Storyline was great.
Yeah.
But they should have deferred. They should have used Curry as a decoy and let that boy Tusano or let Wiggins, who was having a monster game. I mean, you should have let one of them take the shot and you being the decoy. But it's the NBA.
Yeah,
It's the
not gonna happen.
storyline.
Yeah, it's not
You
gonna
have to let Curry take the last shot. It is what it is.
Yeah.
That's just my thought process. I'm done. I'm done with my Stephen
No.
A. Rant, and I'm gonna let Montel just do what he do.
Your turn.
Man, I'm a Laker hater.
Bring it, brother. God dog it. Bring it.
This is me. I'm not a fan of the Lakers. I'm not. I don't like LeBron because he's on the Lakers. But the shot was great, man. You can't doubt greatness. I mean, caught the ball, threw it up, made it. Great shot. But my tell of the story was this is what I watched the whole game.
This man got his
saw-
little finger up too while he drinking his apple juice. I'm just, he
Oh, yeah.
highfalutin, boy. Highfalutin.
My take of the game is I thought that LeBron won the game, but I thought Steph Curry was the best player on the floor last night.
Oh yeah.
My
There's
opinion.
no-
I thought
there's
he
no-
yeah, he I mean, are we looking at talent on both sides of both teams? Lakers obviously has a lot more talent than them. I think that Golden State is playing on a lot of wheel. Wiggins has developed over the years being a good player.
Yeah.
Draymond is still inconsistent. He's not an offensive threat. He's definitely a defensive threat in the rebounds, but he's not an offensive threat anymore. So they're basically playing 5-on-4 when it comes to offense, who's going to score. And Steph has been picking up that pace big time. And Tallboy shaking his head at me. Draymond does the stats. He does the story. He's not a scorer, but I think Steph again with that performance emerged himself again as the MVP. I hope he gets over the hump with the Grizzlies, but that's not going to be an easy task. They're big up front. It's going to be real hard for them to get over it with Ja and them. But man, I mean, like me, I'm never going to say nothing positive about the Lakers, except that I'll give them their props when they make shots and do a lot of stuff, and they do cool. But I'm not a Laker fan. I think LeBron does his thing. He's great. AD is the heart and soul, I think, of that team. Is where AD goes, that's where they go. When AD plays great,
I think from a future
Lakers,
perspective, yeah, right. It's
Lakers
yeah.
That's me. AD plays great. Lakers unstoppable because LeBron is. He's a GOAT. Don't get me wrong. He's one of the greatest of all time. He's definitely a great complimentary person when somebody else is taking that shine. When there's another star on the team who could take that shine a little bit from, he's now unstoppable. He's that great option. That great option when he could do that because he can facilitate the game in any way.
Yeah.
As a point guard, a power forward, and he can score on the best of them. So I mean, Lakers is great. Don't get me wrong. Don't like them. Hate them. I hope they get swept in 4 by Phoenix. May not happen, but I'm wishing for that. That shot made me sick last night because I wanted the Warriors to win so much. So move on to the next story. I don't even want to talk about it.
Because I wanted to text you when I was in the gym. Did I text you or something? I wanted to reach out and say, "Oh, this is gonna be a conversation." But speaking of that, right? Because you just touched on it. Steph is one of the 3 finalists for the MVP. Look, Jokic and Joel Embiid. I don't think it's gonna be too hard of a decision to go ahead and give Steph that trophy this season. All the players.
You are not a basketball guy.
I'm not, right? I'm the boring sport that neither of you like. I'm a baseball guy.
I respond to Montel.
Go ahead.
But I'm going.
Go ahead.
But I want to solve this right now. The MVP is going to go to Jokic. And I say that because Jokic has been consistent.
Y'all
all
heard
year.
it right here, folks. Tallboy says the MVP for the current season is going to go to Joker.
And
I'm gonna use that as a chapter marker on YouTube.
Go ahead, Tallboy.
And number 2, the game, the way the NBA is trying to make the game, they're trying to make it an international game. And with them making it an international game, you've already had Giannis as back-to-back MVP.
Yeah.
And then now you're going to make Jokic the 3rd international player. I mean, well, he'll be the next MVP.
In a row.
It's going to continue to expand the game. So remember, the NBA is entertaining for us, but don't forget the dollars and the cents that goes with the NBA.
Wow.
So because he had an awesome season or an awesome playoff last year, and not remember, you make the All-Star game based off of the way you played in the playoffs. You make your MVP case based off of how you make it in the conference finals or in the finals. and the way the Joker played in that bubble last year, and that he continued, that's what's gonna allow him to go
Wow.
over from. Remember, it's a business. It's a numbers game. It's not about the fans. Yes, Steph has played miraculous. You know, he played in Boston and had that unbelievable game against Boston. Yes, and they lost, I think. Yes, he and Bradley Beal were going at it for the leading
Mm-hmm.
scorer. Yes, he razzles and dazzles, and the kids love him. But at the end of the game, we're talking global. And Joker,
Okay.
I feel you. I feel you on that. I feel you on that. And
You threw that out there. You threw that out there.
and I'm a Joker fan. I think Joker is maybe 2 months ago was well far advanced, was in front of everybody for the MVP. I think the run as a player, because he's an international star on the basketball court.
Mm.
I think he's just made so much volumes, and he's getting so much support from other players saying he's playing at that MVP level that he's going to get it. Even LeBron gave his endorsement, says he's been the MVP.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's been the MVP. He's been playing like the MVP. So when LeBron gives that endorsement, somebody's going to be the MVP. The league usually follows suit. So I like Jokic. I like Jokic. I think the dude is a ball. I think he's gonna make.
I think Steph has the sell power. Like he can sell. Like he can sell the shoes.
Mm-hmm.
He can put people in the seats. Joker can't put people in the seats the way Steph can. But when you're talking about that international money, I'm sorry, man.
So we're going domestic versus international. Who gonna get this?
Who had the MVP last year? Who had the MVP the last 2 years? And remember, China. Remember, China had the situation with Mr. Mowry. I think Dale Mowry from the Houston Rockets. So a lot of that funding went out the door when he made those comments. And you know, because of the cap and the pandemic, I think that, you know, the NBA is looking at that international money, and wouldn't it be great to be able to have another international star become the MVP? That's all I'm saying.
Well, you fell right into our next story, because you know what about just someone local giving out some money and helping people? You know, the Steph and Ayesha Curry, they doing big things with their foundation. They're taking care of kids in the local Oakland area. I think Montel, you said they had something specifically going on with girls.
Yeah. They donated. They're also donating another $9 million to women small businesses initiative, I believe.
Yeah.
Him and Ayesha Curry. That was just announced I think a couple of days ago. I saw it on LinkedIn. So I'm glad he's doing the things like we said. He's definitely, you know, entrenched himself in Oakland and giving back to the kids the right way, man. We don't need no more gyms. We don't need all that. Let's have them helping them open the businesses and doing all that stuff in Oakland. I mean, the way Oakland's becoming gentrified right now, and the way it's definitely prosper in a hot base in the Bay Area for people to move and live and grow and all those good things. It's good to see his brother and his wife doing some major things in that community. So, always salute.
Boy, there we go. We got some local folks giving some money to the local community. Doesn't that count?
Not new.
But I'm really I'm poking at you, and you know I am. I'm just
poking at you.
Yeah.
And I say that, and I guess this is the Kwame Brown in me. You know, just being politically correct. This is not news, and you are blessed with the talent to do something. They pay you millions of dollars to do it. You create a foundation and you give back food or meals. The churches are already doing this. The small business initiatives, you have the money to be able to empower people. So this is what your give back to the community is supposed to already be about anyway. So whether you do it publicly or you do it privately, there's a lot of NBA players that give back and they don't want the recognition. And there's a lot of NBA players that say my foundation and it's a tax write-off for the money that they make. To me, this is what you're supposed to do. We're all supposed to find a way to lift somebody.
But my question is, though, we just talked about the greatest player in the world, or supposed greatest player, Michael Jordan, who we do not see doing these types of things, or we haven't seen him doing these types of things, and maybe he does it on the under, or we don't know anything about. But we do
So
know
Michael
he.
Jordan doesn't even though I talk bad about him and said that he invests in prisons, but he invests in hospitals. And so he made an initiative where he helped build a new hospital out there in the Charlotte area or something like that. So, I mean, it was quiet as kept. It was, I mean, there was a few media members out there, but it didn't take the national scale like what you just posted here. I
Hmm.
just did,
Mhm.
and this has nothing to do with sports, but
Yeah.
3 weeks ago, a month ago, I got a phone call because there's a very historical person here in the Atlanta area where she was donating $5,000 to a church, and she was going to be giving back to a very popular church out here in the Atlanta area. And I was asked to come out and cover it. I was like, all right, cool. I'll come out. I didn't
Mhm.
want to because I didn't think that it was news. But
Hmm.
what I saw, and this, like I said, it's similar to what we're seeing here, but it has nothing to do with sports. But what I saw was you're giving back. You gave the church $5,000 to contribute to the meals. Now, no disrespect to what she was doing because I don't have $5,000 to give, but
Mhm.
she said, "Hey, I'm giving $5,000 to help the community." Excuse me. And they tried to make this a big hoopla story. No different from this story here. I
Mm.
mean, there's no
Mhm.
different if you that same $5,000, that same how much was that?
10
16
million.
million?
10 million.
No,
10
no, no, no. How
million
much
for
was
Michael Jordan.
how
Oh,
many million?
16 million meals or something like that. It
60.
was 16 million
16
meals,
million meals is
right?
no different from you or James giving a homeless person $5 or $10, or $2 that's coming off the freeway to help a homeless. That's your give back. Just because they're a
Mm.
celebrity and they get it put on the news or they get it put on the internet, oh, this is a great feel good story that they're really in the community. That's awesome. I expect you to do that. You're an athlete. That's no
Hmm.
different from you taking time to talk to a kid that's in the nosebleeds that saved up his money to come to see you play. That's what you're
Mhm.
supposed to do. So for you to put that story up to me, that's not news to me. Now, like I said, I'm not trying to, to be. I'm just telling you from a from an athlete perspective. I, Super Bowl was here 2 years ago here in Atlanta, and I had media credentials to be down on the field of the Celebrity Sweat flag football game. And what I saw, and this is just me, what I saw was all the white kids with their dads or with their moms or with, whoever that was part of the brand endorsements for the game, right?
Hmm.
They're down on the field, and all the white kids get to be next to Michael Vick and Silento and all Quavo from can't think of the rap group
Migos.
Migos.
Migos. Migos.
Migos.
They're
Yeah.
all down on the field, and I'm just thinking to myself, I got this extra media pass. I just randomly walked around the stadium and I found one kid and his father. And I said, "Excuse me, sir." I said, "I don't know you. I'm not trying to be funny, but I would like to invite your son down on the field with me because what I see is I see, you bringing your kid out to this game.
Hmm.
And I think it would be pretty cool for him to have an on the field experience." Kid's
Mhm.
eyes lit up. He didn't know me from a can of paint.
Yeah. Yeah.
I brought him down on the field, and he got pictures with Michael Vick, Quavo, one of the ladies from the Real Housewives of Atlanta, Phaedra Parks. I mean, I had him doing interviews with Brian Jordan of the Atlanta Falcons and Braves, the dual sport
Mhm.
player. I had him out there really enjoying himself, and that was just me. That was my give back.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So that didn't make the news. Who cares? So when I see
Hey,
this,
but you know what? That's important though. I mean, that's important, man. That you do care, and I understand what you're saying. It's not news, but I think it is news because it sheds a positive light. That's what I like about it because
but
so
that
man, I like
is not like
whether
but it's not
I'm
like
just saying what's
separate.
responsibility or not. Whether you're supposed to do it or not, I think it's good sometimes to shine a little bit on that light. I think it's a good thing. I don't think it's
Yeah,
necessarily bad. It may not be news or something worthy to mention.
th- all I'm saying is they're already in a position to where they're already comfortable. That 16 million meals was nothing to them. That
Yeah, I
that
agree.
helping small businesses, that was nothing to them because all they did was reach out to some of their sponsors or to some of their partners and say, hey, I'm willing to do this. Will you be willing to open the opportunity or will you be willing to match dollar for whatever we put? And then they use it to their nonprofit and then they use it as a tax write-off. That's what you're supposed to do. And now you're giving another person a leg up. And it helps the people with PPP loans or struggling to get an EIDL loan. You're helping them still be successful trying to, live the American dream. You're an athlete. You make millions of dollars. That's what you're supposed to do, whether you want to do it or not. That's just my opinion.
Bring it, brother. Bring it.
Yeah, there you go.
I love it. We talking about it tonight. Appreciate y'all.
You wasn't ready for this. I'm sorry. Team No Sleep wasn't ready for this.
No, so
No, it's all good.
You
It's all
have
good.
to.
You gotta
So
shout out Kwame Brown for this.
no, Corey, you got to remember. You got to remember that, and you know how I do. I'm literally poking at the scab and pulling the Band-Aid off with throwing these questions and comments out, hoping to get a reaction like that because that conversation needs to happen, irregardless of if either one of us agree with it or disagree with it. I just love having that conversation. A lot of times I am expecting someone to go off like that. I'm just, again, in the back of the room heckling and instigating, hoping that we do have that conversation because I can guarantee you there are folks in the comments, folks that are watching, or folks on the replay that wanted to say the same thing or wanted to ask the same thing. But to have three astute brothers on the screen right here talking about the social impact of sports. We haven't talked about one score yet. We talked about 103 to 100, but right? We've talked about everything around that, how it's affecting community, how it's affecting society, how it's affecting culture, how it's affecting all finance, donation, foundations, all that stuff yet. Ain't said two things about a trophy, a score, playoff standings. We ain't said nothing about your boy Tebow out there playing tight end. We could have. We've already drilled that one into the ground. But we, so no, man. Never apologize. Right. That's what this show is a little bit different than the lab. Right. The lab we kind of stick to the script, but this one we like to fly off the rails just a little bit. So you are welcome to go off on your tangent and drink your apple juice. I'm in the mood today, brother.
I don't even know what that was, but okay.
Me either. Hey, shout out to you, boy.
Drinking.
Just leave me alone. Leave me be. We're gonna close out one more story. We're gonna go back to basketball. We're gonna give a shout out and recognition to some folks that are going back to the enshrinement. We got some names for 2021 that were announced that I didn't think was gonna make it. I didn't think your boy Weber was gonna make it. But you know what? After hearing, talking about the 2021 Hall of Fame inductees being announced, Paul Pierce, Chris Bosh, and Chris Webber leading that class. After hearing Jalen Rose and talk to Chris Webber on screen, I think it was last night or the other night, I'm really happy that this is happening because Chris Webber is doing some really good things with his life. He's had some things go awry with him as well, like everyone has. Messing around calling timeouts when he's not supposed to when he's on the field. But you know what? But he has always been an entrepreneur at heart. When he was here with the Kings, he had all kinds of businesses going. He had all kinds of restaurants going. He had a lot of things going on, really looking out for the community. And he's continuing to do that. His play was unquestionable. His play was great. Almost got us to where we needed to be, but them Lakers and Ori with that dagger, I won't bring that up because Montel gonna fall out his chair. But shouts out to the class of 2021. Got some winners going in. We got Rick Adelman going in there too, who was the coach of the Kings of that particular time when they had that great run. What do you guys think about next year's class going in from a Hall of Fame perspective, and who we got on the list? I'll let you start, Montel.
It's a great class. I mean, it's a good class. I'm not quite sure it touches this year's class. As far as basketball play, Paul Pierce is great. The truth, he did his thing in Boston, had great, cut short. Unfortunately, he had an ailment. I believe it was his heart or something like that. So he had his ailment, so his career was cut short. But he was definitely an all-star level at that time when he's playing. And Chris Webber's the one, as far as basketball play, that's being inducted that did not win the championship,
Yeah.
but was always playing at a really high caliber. I don't even know. I mean, I'm not quite sure what the criteria is to become an NBA Hall of Famer. As far as what you play, what your averages, the numbers wise, you know, they're okay. What it is, I mean, the standard seems to be in the NBA just I don't know what it is. Were you a superstar? Do you get in? It seems like the criteria is not as difficult to get in the NBA Hall of Fame. I thought they would be a lot more stringent, and who they pick when they pick people to kind of go in. But I mean, it's a good class, man. I'm a fan of all three of them cats, man. I'm a
Yeah.
fan of Rick Adams, so
Yeah.
more power to him. Let him go and get in and go.
You know,
Tall boy be more expert, man. I'm not the
Yeah.
basketball dude. I mean, I'm only speaking from fans.
Commentary. Well, and you think about Bosh too, right? He's only won a couple of again, a classic dude who, like you said, had some health issues. He only won a couple of championships. I did not even realize that Bill Russell coached. I don't know why I didn't know that. But yeah, he's already in as a player, obviously, but now he's going in as a coach as well. So that's.
I think he won one championship. He won one championship as a coach too, right? He won one in Boston as a coach, I believe. So, yeah, man. I mean, the class it's dope. I mean, it's a good class, but like I said, I can only speak from a fan standpoint. I can speak from fans. Tall boy, you comment, man. Like I said,
what's on your mind?
That's my take on.
What's on your mind, brother?
Well, you can't discredit Paul Pierce with Boston because I mean they call him the truth for the reason. I was never a big Boston fan, but I mean he was clutch. He did. I mean, the NBA players, certain NBA players, did not give him the respect that he deserved. Saying that he didn't get his farewell tour like Kobe did, or like some other players did, and I think that was quite comical. But he's a West Coast guy that played in Boston all of his life. He played on one team, and he brought him a championship. So he wasn't hopping from team to team. He stayed true to the team. So for Boston, I think this is great for them. For Chris Bosh, he's a great player. That's all I can really say. I think that he got. I think he got the short end of the stick, being part of the Big Three down there in Miami. Because before he went to Miami, he was a solid player. Now, would he have probably brought a championship to Toronto? Probably not. But I mean, like you said, with the heart or the issues that he had with his health, that stopped him from playing. But he made a true sacrifice to become a champion. So you have to give him his props there. But he was a solid player. Um, so I like you said, I don't know what the requirements are for becoming a Hall of Famer because Charles Barkley didn't win a championship. So you can't get mad and say Chris Webber, you can't say that because Charles Barkley got in. So with Chris Webber, he's a Michigander. I have nothing but respect for him. He really made that blue and gold from Michigan. He made the Fab Five what it is today.
That's true.
The
reason why we still talk about it was all because of him and them long baggy shorts and his swagger. It is.
And the NWA music. I mean, that's what made the NBA. I mean, made college basketball exciting to watch back when I was in middle school or junior high, and then said, "Hey, you know what? I want to be like them. I want to wear the black socks and the long baggy shorts." So when he made it to the NBA, it was like, man, that would have been awesome to see him and Shaq play on the same team.
Yeah.
And then for Shaq to say, "Y'all need to go get Penny," and he flexed his name down in Orlando, to get Penny because of the Blue Chips movie. That hurt, not to be able to see Chris Webber, play with Shaq, because I think that would have been an awesome
That would have
tandem.
been great.
I don't know
Yeah,
who the
Yep.
point guard would have been at the time, but I
Scott
think that would
Skiles.
have
Scott
been.
Skiles would have been. Yeah. Scott Skiles was still there
Yeah.
when it happened.
Well,
So
Penny Hardaway needed to come, so yeah, we can't
yeah.
have that. So,
My-
it's unfortunate that he's not going to be able to finish with TNT this year.
Mhm.
yeah.
I'm not going to talk bad about anybody from Michigan, no matter what they do. So I have nothing but the utmost respect.
Hey, I
Um,
was born in Michigan, so that gave me some little leeway to talk about him calling timeout. So
mm, I didn't know that. But I mean, the timeout part, it was a very disappointing. It was very disappointing because you're watching,
Mhm.
and if we can talk about the timeout situation,
yeah,
that happened back then. I mean, it was a brain fart. Let's just call it what it is,
Yeah.
and it was on the highest stage that you could possibly be, as an amateur. Not as a professional, but as an amateur, that's the highest stage that you can be on, and you make that mistake. I mean, we all make mistakes. The only bad thing it was at the
Yeah.
highest
Yep.
stage of
yeah,
all time
yeah,
ever. And that's the hurtful part of it. But you cannot deny the fact that he did not bring fun,
yeah.
Oh,
flair, his personality. He brought a swagger to that blue and gold to make you say, I wanna be part of Michigan. And I'll never forget when I moved to Lansing to be with my dad. And I was playing on the high school basketball team. I was on JV at the time, and I remember we went to our coach's house, and it was a Michigan versus Michigan State, and I'll
Mm.
never forget. They were playing, and they were saying they were at the Breslin Center, and we were all at the coach's house, and I was new. I was a kid from Atlanta, and they were like, "Who you with, green or blue? Choose wisely." And all I knew was blue. I'm in Lansing, not understanding
Yeah,
it's
Michigan. Well,
all
Michigan.
about
Yeah,
Yeah.
don't
all
don't
about
come around
art.
talking Michigan State by accident. Yeah, don't mess up.
I didn't know it was about Sparty. It was
Yeah.
like I'm saying all I remember was the Fab Five.
Yeah,
And then come to find out, I became teammates with Jimmy King later on in my USBL days. Had a chance
Mhm.
to play with one of the Fab Five members. I was in Uncle Drew, Uncle Drew,
Uncle
and
Drew.
I got a
Yeah,
chance to have a conversation with Chris Webber in the van, and just to find out that I came out in that same class with Shane Battier. He was number
okay.
one, and I was the
Mhm.
number 5 best center in the state of Michigan at the time. So just to be able to say that I was part of, that Michigan thing, even though I'm
Mhm.
not in the Hall of Fame, never will make it there, never even be considered, is just to see that he's getting his shine.
Yeah,
And I hope that whatever his next endeavor is, I wish him well.
yeah.
As far as Rick Alderman, I can't tell you anything about the man other than he played. I mean, he was the one. No, that was PJ Carlesimo. Rick Alderman, I just
Yeah,
remember
he didn't
him.
get choked out by Spreewell. You think about
Yeah,
PJ? He
I
didn't get
just remember
choked
him
out.
and Vlade Divac. That's all I
Yeah,
remember.
yeah,
Bobby Jackson, and Vlade Divac out there in Sacramento. Like
yeah. I still see Bobby
they
Jackson
never won
every
nothing.
week. Yeah, he lived out here right in my town. I still see him every week. So yeah, he's still out here doing his thing.
Yeah. So I
Yeah,
mean,
man.
like,
I,
go ahead.
I think like the piggyback off that the Fab Five. I think they were probably the most influential college team ever, next to Georgetown when they first came out with the Georgetown Hoya when they the influence, and then UNLV's number 3 after that with Grandmama on them. But
Hmm.
Fab Five kind of set the
Man,
tone for college.
Hmm.
Though I mean, especially in our communities. I mean, the first ones I remember was Georgetown. Like, whoa, Georgetown! Everybody had Georgetown jacket, the Nike Airs with the colors in them, and then as the Hoyas thing kind of to really die down, then came the Fab Five. I mean, these brothers, ball heads,
Hmm. Hmm.
muscles, baggy shorts. They they would talk the way we talk. They all hip hop. They throwing alley oops. They're definitely not the traditional Colin and like Princeton, the box and all that stuff. They were running. They're running the floor, doing things. I mean, they play back. They were showing us how to play. Like we play basketball on the street or play basketball at the park. They were doing it at the collegiate level on TV and shining.
Mhm.
You know, and I know there were other great teams, the Fly Slamma Jam and all them, but I don't think no one's had more influence on our community and our youth than the Fab Five. And Weber, like you said, Weber was a spearhead.
Yeah.
Jalen Rose was probably the heart. You know, Juwan Howard was probably Mr. Consistency, and Jimmy King and what's the other brother's name? Ray Jackson were
Mhm.
both.
Mhm.
They played their role. They played their role to the T. Man, I mean, those dudes, they Michigan Hall of Fame. Period. The state of Michigan should
Oh,
embrace
yeah.
them guys
Oh, yeah.
always, forever, because they changed the face, man. And the University of Michigan owe them cats a check to this day, because they didn't change the way we do. They didn't change the way these brothers dress from now on and
That's
go.
true.
So,
Well, Michigan definitely at that time they definitely did it for the culture, and
yes,
you know the culture from your hood to the West Coast to the hoods on the East Coast, from New York to Philly to North Carolina to Georgia to New Orleans to Memphis. I mean, they put everyone on notice that said this is how we play, because all you really knew was the rucker, and then it
yep,
was like they would take one or two guys out of the rucker and put them on a Kentucky or put them on a Duke or a North Carolina, but that would be it.
Yeah.
And
yep.
then but to see all five of them come together and do
5
what they
freshmen,
did,
yeah, 5 freshmen, 5
freshmen,
young
yeah,
freshmen that's coming
and took
in
spots.
here and all these, yeah, took spots, took veteran spots and talking, not even talking trash to Duke, but like, we're not afraid of Duke. We ain't afraid. They were talking that talk, walking that walk, doing the things that we wanted to see them do, and backing it up. You know, like I said, Chris Webber made the brain fart. That's fine. I don't think that tarnishes his legend at all,
No.
as a basketball player. But I
Yeah,
mean, as far as college,
there's no asterisk in on his shrine,
yeah,
and like Barry
Yeah,
Bonds is gonna have if he ever gets in.
yeah,
There's no asterisk.
yeah.
So
But Michigan, the University of Michigan, that Fabulous Five era, man, was I would arguably say probably some of the greatest times that I enjoy watching college basketball. And they set the tone in a whole different. They just took basketball trajectory, in my opinion. They just,
mhm.
from everybody rocking Michigan jackets, everybody rocking baggy shorts. Everybody's now. I mean, and if you're not walking, you rocking your local team, but you rocking the baggy shorts from your local team. I mean, they just changed everything what you want to do. Like you said, they touched every down to Tallahassee and back on forth, man. So I
and
think they did the
and,
thing.
and with all that being said, that's exactly why he should be in the Hall of Fame. I mean, we're still
There you go.
talking about what they
Mhm.
did, no
That's true.
matter championship or
You're
no
right.
championship.
Yeah.
That
Yep.
is Hall of Fame worthy, because you did it for the culture, and you made a lot of people change up their whole style because
Yep.
of what you did. So with him making it into the Hall of Fame makes all five of them go into the Hall of Fame, if that makes sense.
I agree. I
Yeah.
agree.
He's the representative of the Fab Five. He's that representative of the Fab Five in
Yeah.
there. There you go.
Awesome. Gentlemen, we did some things, and I appreciate y'all. Montel, how you feel, man? Let me start with you, brother. How you feel? We do all right?
I'm blessed, man. Blessed, man. As long as I got 10 toes down, man, I'm blessed
God,
forever.
I
So
love it, boy. I'm gonna put that on a t-shirt. Hey, brother Nixon, get ready. I might put that on my next shirt. Tall boy, how you feeling, man? You all right?
I'm my mama's son.
You are your put that on your sign for next week. I like that. Appreciate both of y'all. Appreciate the conversation. We did some things.
Kwame. He
Nothing else to say. Goodbye.